not too excited that it's already been half a year, but it is what it is. Alright everybody, welcome to the Mid-Year Freakout, where I freak out about books that I haven't finished reading yet, and books that I have finished reading and either did or didn't like. I'm going to link the tag creator in the description, but let's get started here. The very first tag is best so far of 2025. And the best thing I've read so far in 2025, oh, it's at the bottom of my stack. Give me a second. I actually read a lot of good books this year, but I've also reread a lot of stuff. And then I've read stuff for school that I thought was good, but I wouldn't call it like the best thing. So the best I've read so far this year is Under the Same Stars by Libba Bray. It's 3 different timelines and like kind of a mystery thing. One is the 1940s in Germany. One is 1980s, specifically near the Berlin Wall, and one is in 2020 during COVID. So it's really cool. I suggest you look at it. All of them kind of interact in some way, and it's not exactly a happy ending for everybody, but it's still kind of the ending you needed. I don't know. The other one is Frankenstein. This is not the edition that I read with my students, but this is the new pretty edition that I got. I believe it was the end of last year, but anyway, this is Frankenstein. You know, this account is a huge Frankenstein stan account. If you've not read Frankenstein, read it. We love our tragic grad school student with an ego that decides to make a man. I taught it this year for the first time, and it was really fun. They all had big opinions. I don't know if you know this, but Victor is very, very gay, according to my first period AP Lit kids. And who am I to judge? I didn't really read any sequels this year, and the ones I did read, I either read just that one or I read like the first one of a series. So while this isn't a sequel, we're going to modify this to be best like addition to the IP, I guess, because this is technically a prequel, but it's Sunrise on the Reaping. I devoured this book. I cried over this book. I really, really, really enjoyed this. The movie is going to kill me next year. They just, as of filming this, released the Ampert and Willie castings, and if you know, you know. So I'm going to need therapy. And Haymitch makes a lot more sense now. This is a good one. This puts you in Haymitch's headspace. I also was one of those people where it's like, I don't really need a bunch of background on stuff. But no, I did need background on stuff. You needed the background of like, everyone is kind of agreeing to this, but think about the power in not agreeing to this, and propaganda, and hey, it takes a long time for rebellions to happen, huh? So this was really good. Again, not a sequel technically, but I'm going to put it in that category. The third is a release you haven't gotten to yet. I would like to read, I believe it's Oathbound. I've already put it on the shelf and I couldn't get to it easy, but Oathbound is the third book in the Legendborn, like, series. But I need to reread the first 2 books. I've got to reread Legendborn and Bloodmarked. I can't do Oathbound without rereading the first 2 because it's been so long since I've read the first one that I know I would miss stuff. And it's a big book, so I need to really take my time with it. The other one just came in the other day. When Devils Sing is a fun, like, Southern Gothic horror mystery where someone goes missing and the kids are trying to figure out who did it. And it feels like it's going to be a very good, like, summerween read. So I really would like to get to those. My most anticipated for the second half of the year, I'm very, very, very excited for the third book in the Sworn Soldier series by Teen Kingfisher. It's What Stalks the Deep. Very excited about that. It's going to be a challenge not to read it. I kind of want to save it because I know I'm going to want to do it for Summerwing next year. So I might not read it, but I'm very excited to have it. And the next one is The Maiden and Her Monster, which is a retelling of like a golem story where this girl creates a female golem. And I've been following this since well before this thing even had a cover. And it was just like a mood board on Instagram. So I'm very, very invested in the vibes of this. It is a sapphic story. So I love a good golem. I love a good, like, make me a man story. Frankenstein staying here. Hello. But this, I think this is going to hit. And it comes out, I think, in like September. Biggest disappointment. I didn't really have any that were like bad per se. I read the Percy Jackson graphic novel. It's not fantastic, but I don't know what I expected. And I read Everything Belongs to Us. I think maybe socially I don't understand what's going on there. The only positive to that book was the ending, revealing that the girl that was being absolutely wronged by the narrative at the end kind of she got her get back and had a good life anyway. But it just was rich people doing rich people things at the expense of their poor friends. It was hard to deal with that. Biggest surprise isn't really a big surprise, but I'm going to put that there because I guess I didn't know how much I was going to like it. This book was recommended to me by my best friend Gina, and it was recommended to me by a student who like checked it out from the library for me, and it's The Way I Used to Be, and it's a very dark story, but it's about a girl who is sexually assaulted at the very beginning of the novel, and kind of her, I'd say dealing with it, but not dealing with it through the course of the text, and how it basically messes up all of her relationships with everybody, everywhere. This book flew by for me because I was like so sad and upset for her. It was like reading Speak for the first time again. And I know there's a sequel to it, and I probably am going to pick that up at some point. I know my student read it. But I was shocked at how like emotionally impacted I was by that book. It was very good. I don't really have a favorite new author. I definitely don't have a favorite new crush. I'm so sorry. I am 33. I don't usually do that anymore. Any author I liked this year, I've liked before, right? Like I've already liked Suzanne Collins. I like Mary Shelley. I like Stephen Graham Jones. Like none of them were like new to me authors that I'm like, I need to pick that up again. That's not to say I won't find somebody in the back half of the year, but I definitely didn't find anybody in the first half. My new fave character, though, I did really like Cora Zhang in Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang because she was very complicated. I like a good complex character, especially in my horror. And I liked her friends, too, which was very sad. I shouldn't have gotten attached to the friends. But that book was really good. It didn't make it necessarily to the favorites, but it was like a 4.5 for me. It was really good. The audiobook was fantastic. But Cora herself was very compelling because she has such a complex relationship with like her sister and her identity. And I really like that. I like the main character of Lore as well, the book by Alexandra Bracken, and her name is Lore. It's like Melora. She was a very strong lead character without being like quote unquote strong female character stereotype, right? I feel like that she reacted very realistically to like some really heavy stuff that was happening to her, and she took some vulnerable accountability for stuff that she shouldn't have had to live with. But I liked Lore, so those two. A book that made me cry. This one, like the whole last two chapters, it's sad. I didn't cry through the whole book, and I didn't cry through some scenes, but it's like it all added up at the end, and I was crying. I also cried during The Way I Used to Be. That book I was going through it during The Way I Used to Be. That one was very sad. A book that made you happy. The second Vera Wong book. I don't have a physical copy, but like I will take 80 books in this series of Vera Wong just busybodying her way through people's lives and making them better. Like she's so delightful and silly, but also like this one was a little bit heavier than the first one. Some serious stuff happened. I think they're going overseas for the next one. At the end, there's some implication that she's going to go to Paris. Cannot wait to see what shenanigans she gets up to in Paris. But I think that one makes me happy. Every time I read those, it's just a delight. I enjoy them. The most beautiful book I've bought this year. I've bought a lot of really pretty books this year. Look, give me a second. But also a lot of the books I've bought, I've already put where new books go, and I can't find them easily. I've also been trying to not buy books for myself. The books I've been buying have usually been for my classroom library. I don't know how successful that's been, but anyway, I think this one, When the Devils Sing, is really pretty. I love a matte background with a accent. It's also got this cool thing on the back. It's got very neat sprayed edges. They're like a bee or whatever. And I believe, yeah, it has that in red on the front. So I'm always a fan of kind of the simplicity of that. I also got the Outcrate's doing those quarterly releases, and I'm in the horror one because I'm always going to be looking for stuff that's intentionally horror and not just like mystery thriller horror. And they did a copy of the Buffalo Hunter that is amazing. Like that's just every single section is good. It's got really cool end pages. It's got a reversible cover that has good stab on it. and it's got two kind of cool hardcover pages. This was great. It helps that I like the Buffalo Hunter, right? Like, it helps that I like that. Again, not a favorite. It's not even my favorite Stephen Graham Jones, but it's up there, and I recommend it. I think it's better on audiobook, though. This is good, but I would listen to the audiobook. And what books do you need to get to by the end of the year? I started Lord of the Flies. You can see I was annotating it for AP Lit, and then I realized I did not have time to read it. So I need to finish this over the summer. And I need to read The Long Walk by Stephen King and annotate it to teach, because we are trying to teach this to our sophomores this year in the fall. And I'm not above asking for help. If you see this video and you've gotten to this point in the video, there is a link to the Donors Choose, where we are trying to buy a classroom set of these books. Please, please, please consider donating $1 or $2 for us to get these books for our kids so we can teach The Long Walk to our sophomores. Other than that, I need to get to 100 books. So I'm currently, I think, about 56. I'm not unconfident that I'll get to 100, but I think I am going to be pushing it rather close this year, because I'm still in grad school. So, and we don't read stuff for fun, really. We read stuff for research. I'm gonna count it, but we mainly read for research. So that's my tag. That's my tag. If you want to do this, I will, again, tag everything and link everything in the description below, and let me know kind of what your favorites and things were this year so I can read them, and maybe the things you're disappointed in so I can avoid them, because I don't have time to put myself in a slump over a bad book. All right, let me go put all these books back on the shelf, I guess. Bye.